Hi team, I hope you're all well. Today we are going to be doing an unhaul, but with a twist. I have done an unhaul with me before. Usually I just do sit down unhauls where I've gone through my books and then I tell you exactly what I'm unhauling and why. This time I'm going to do things a little bit different. So I wanted to do very similar to an unhaul with me, but with a twist, because I find the unhaul with me quite a long task because I'm constantly having to move the camera to follow me around and it's a pain in the ass, I'm not gonna lie. Also, this room kind of doesn't allow for it anymore with the furniture that's in here. So I've decided what I'm gonna do with the help of my patrons, but also my friend Alicia. She recommended that what I do is I take off all the books that I want to keep. That seems like a lot of work, but the thought process is that I will be going through in a positive manner to start off with, taking off all the books that I want to keep, and then I'm just left with all the books on the shelves that I'm either unsure about or I definitely want to unhaul. And what this will do, I'm hoping, is stop this from being such a massive task, because for me right now, looking at these shelves, I've been putting off this unhaul for months because it's so overwhelming. I have hundreds and hundreds of books on here. I'm going to guesstimate around 500-600 books, and it's overwhelming to look at them all and think, do I want to unhaul that book, or, you know, missing some or whatever, or unhauling something because I feel like I need to unhaul it but then regretting it later. So I feel like this will make this task much easier. So I'm going to take off all the books that I want to keep, and then I'm going to come back and show you what I'm left with. And then I'm going to go through the process of deciding what I'm going to unhaul. I may let my patrons help me with this tomorrow on Magic Monday sprints. I'm thinking that this task might take me a couple of days, so bear with me, but I might include a little bit of b-roll of me dragging the books off. And then what it also does is give me the chance to actually give these shelves a wipe down before putting my books back on, and also putting my books back on in a style that I want to have them on, because I really want to do all of my unread books video as well. So the other reason for doing this is that I have now started pushing on with the work that I'm going to start doing on the house. I'm doing a lot of house renovations this year, so expect those videos as well. But this room that's currently my library is actually, if you didn't know, I've mentioned it a billion times to my patrons, but I don't know if I've made it public yet. But this room's moving to what's currently my bedroom, and my bedroom's coming in here. So having a massive change around in the upstairs of the house this year with plenty of renovations going on. So I want to prepare my library for that as well. I don't want to be hauling ass a bunch of books I'm not interested in reading anymore and trying to squeeze them into my new library, because that room is much smaller than this one. I do think, however, that my shelf space is going to be not bigger by any means, but I do think it's going to be a much nicer space, and I want to only put books on there that I truly want to read or keep. So this is going to be a brutal haul. If I could halve my library, that would be awesome. I don't think that's going to happen, but if I could get somewhere close to that, even like 40% or 35%, that would be awesome. Whether or not I'll achieve that, I don't know, and I won't properly know either, because I haven't counted how many books I own, and I'm not fucking going to, because that's a terrifying thought. But yeah, this just kind of sets me up for doing several other videos that I've been wanting to do but putting off because it seems like a massive task because of how many books are on here, and I don't want to commit to saying, oh, these are all of my unread books if I'm not going to read half of them because I'm not interested in them anymore. So that's what's going to happen. I do have a lot of books on here that have been gifted to me over the years, and there's potential for me to actually unhaul some of them without reading them, and I feel horrific about it. I already feel really bad about it. I haven't even started this task yet. I don't even know if that's going to be the case, but I do feel really bad about it. And I do apologise to anybody that has gifted me something and I haven't read it and I'm now no longer interested. But unfortunately, it's just something that happens, and I don't want to force myself through a book I'm no longer interested in just because it's been gifted to me. I do hope that's okay. The idea is that these books go to a home that will read them and cherish them, you know? That's the whole point. I would much rather these books be in somebody else's home and somebody else read them and enjoy them than be sat on my shelves collecting dust and I'm never going to get to them. So I do hope that that's okay and that you understand. I don't know if that's actually going to be the case, but I did just want to put that caveat in here to start off with, just in case it does happen. By no means am I ungrateful for the gift. I'm always incredibly grateful for any gift that comes through my door. Nobody ever has to gift me something, but I do appreciate it nonetheless. It just might be that it's been on here a little while, and my reading tastes have changed quite a bit over, I would say, like the last 12 to 18 months, especially having gone through a fantasy slump. I'm quite picky on my fantasy now, but I'm especially picky on my contemporary and romances as well. I don't read much YA, contemporary or romance anymore at all, and if I do tend to reach for a YA these days, it's sci-fi or fantasy, but even then it's not a lot. So there will be a massive unhaul in that sense. Similarly, my middle grades, I'm not reaching for them as much either because I'm very overwhelmed with my middle grade shelf. I did go through and do a bit of a tidy up the other day because it was a fucking mess, but I am hoping again that I can reduce that right down as well. The problem I have with my middle grade shelves is that I like to keep the books for Thomas for the future, but it's going to be a while yet before he's picking up any of those books, so I might get to a point where I end up storing them in a box room somewhere and putting them in the loft maybe. But yeah, that's my plan over the next few days. I've got sprints with my patrons this evening for the F1 readathon that I'm hosting, the first one that we've got for Patreon this year, and I've decided that I'm gonna, while I'm listening to my book rather than just sitting around and doing nothing, I'm actually gonna start taking these books off of the shelves, the ones that I want to keep, put them in my wardrobe. I'm hoping that I might be able to nail this video tonight and tomorrow, but I'll have to see how it goes because I've got a couple of other videos I need to film tomorrow as well. But yeah, I'm just going to see how it goes, but it's a massive task and I'm a little bit anxious about it. But I need to get started on it before it starts taking me a week to do. And I thought tonight would be a great start. So that's what I'm going to do. That is the plan. There may be some B-roll of me taking books off of the shelves, but I'm not going to talk you through anything until the very end once I get to the unhaul part. I don't know how long this video is going to be. Hopefully not too long. I will come back and give you a very quick view of the, it probably won't even have my face in it. I'll probably just give you a quick view of the shelves once I've taken everything off that I want to keep. Might even show you the stacks in the wardrobe as well, because that's going to be immense and I'm a little bit petrified. But yeah, so without further ado, let's get into this different style of doing an unhaul video, because why the heck not? Okay, good morning. It is the following day. This is what we have left on the shelves. I will say my Brandon Sanderson is still up there only because I couldn't be bothered to move it, because I'm definitely keeping all of that. But this is everything that's left, including from the middle grade shelf as well, that I'm going to go through today and decide whether or not to keep. The way I thought that I was actually probably going to try, I'm not including this either, the way I thought I was actually probably going to try and get rid of half of my collection is just fucking laughable at this point. But yeah, this is what is left. I'm fairly certain that this shelf, I'm definitely getting rid of everything. but I'm going to go through it all today. Let's go see what I'm keeping. So it starts on the landing because apparently the library just wasn't big enough, and this project is terrifying. The fact that I've actually done this has terrified the life out of me. So this is my wardrobe. I can't even get in here anymore, so this needs to be done and dusted today because I've not been able to get in to get any clothes this morning. So this is everything I'm keeping. So like I said, half in my collection was bullshit. And we're gonna have to see how the unhauling goes today. So let's get to it. Okay, hello. It is still Monday. I wasn't going to film this part of it today. I was going to wait till tomorrow. I am absolutely knackered. As you can see, my shelves have now been redone. I've taken all the books off. Every single book came off the shelves except for my Brandon Sanderson ones. They came off and moved elsewhere, but everything came off. I wiped the shelves down. Everything I wanted to keep went back on. And now I am surrounded by books and I'm terrified. I'm not gonna lie. This has been a very overwhelming thing to do. Overwhelming in the sense that I'm now surrounded by books I actually have to get rid of, but overwhelming in the sense that I still have so many books on my shelves. A lot of them I've read, but I've still got so many, and I'm still terrified that I'm not going to be able to fit them in my new library when the room's done. So I don't know, we're gonna have to see how this goes once it's done. But I have a notepad and pen ready so I can make a note every single time I put a pile of books down, how many books there were in it, so that at the end I can count how many books I'm unhauling, because I haven't done it yet because I don't want to. In all honesty, I just don't want to. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the unhaul. I'm not going to go into the massive why I'm getting rid of these books. It's going to be a case of I've read them, I don't want to keep them because I'm not going to reread them, I haven't got the space to keep them. Or it's going to be a case of I've just lost interest in these books now. Especially YA more than anything, because I don't read a lot of YA anymore. In all honesty, I really don't read a lot, especially contemporary and romance. I'm sure I've already said this at the beginning of this video. More so YA, sci-fi and fantasy, but even then I'm picky with what I'm picking up. So there is a lot of that here, and the majority of this is that I'm just not interested in the books anymore. They've been here for a while, I haven't picked them up, and I just don't think I'm going to. I'm prioritising other books that I'm way more interested in, and I kind of want to take that forward and stop buying books that unless I'm picking them up immediately, I'm just going to stop buying them. I'm probably lying, but it is what it is. So let's get into it, because otherwise we're going to be here for fucking ever, because I can't tell you how many books there are here. There is a lot. I can't right now, but I will at the end. So we're going to start off with the Four Horsemen Quartet. We've got Pestilence, War, Famine and Death by Laura Thalassa. I did read the first 3 books in this series. I haven't finished Death. I've DNF'd it. It was a temporary DNF, but honestly I just don't know if I'm ever going to go back to it. I just don't know if I can be bothered. I gave the majority of these 4 or 3 stars. It was a perfectly fine series. I would love to keep these, on the basis that they do cost so much money, because they are self-published, but I'm not going to reread them. I haven't got the shelf space, so they've got to go, unfortunately. But yeah, they are the first 4 books to go. Then I do have my Josie Jaffrey books, which again I'm really sad to see go. I've had this collection for a really long time now. Started off with A Bargain in Silver that Josie sent to me for review, and then she sent me the first book in all of her other series. And I have read all of the Bargain in Silver series, and I've read Mayday and also all of the books in the Bottom series as well, but I haven't yet read Judgment Day, and I just don't know if I'm going to, unfortunately. So I am going to get rid of these. I'm really sad about it, I'm not going to lie. A lot of these are personalised to me as well. They have my name in. They're signed and personalised. They have my name in. So there's quite a few books here that are like that. But it is what it is, so I'm getting rid of these as well. Then we do have some middle grades, so I've got The Amazing Mr. Blunden by Antonia Barber, which I bought a while ago when I went visiting Jade. I got it from Waterstones, and I honestly, I was hooked by an enthralling ghost story with a time-travelling twist, but I'm just not that fussed about it anymore, and I feel like this cover makes it look like a super old, classic middle grade, so I'm not that fussed by it anymore, so I'm going to get rid. I've got The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. I read this one. I think I gave it 5 stars if I remember correctly, but I'm never going to reread it, so I'm going to get rid. The Very Merry Murder Club, but when I picked this up I had no idea that Robin Stevens was attached to it, so I'm going to get rid of this one because I was not a fan of her middle grade series at all, for many different reasons. But yeah, I'm not fussed about picking this one up anymore. I was just looking for more Christmas books, in all honesty. I think that's what happened. The Raven Air by Stephanie Burgess. It's been on here for a while. I haven't picked it up, so it's time to go. My middle grade shelves really did need reducing, so I kind of went a bit mental on those, I'm not gonna lie. How to Kill Your Family by Bella McKay. I've had this for a while as well, it feels like, and I've just not picked it up, and I'm not that bothered by it anymore. I have heard good things, but I'm not interested. I think I've got another Bella McKay on here as well. And then I do have the, I think, first 3 books, unless it is a trilogy, in the High Mountain Court series. So the High Mountain Court, The Witch's Blade and The Rogue Crown by A.K. Mulford. I think I was I sent the first one, or did I get an e-arc of it? Either way. And then the other 2 were sent to me by Cece, so thanks Cece for sending me these. I have apologised to her, but she's not bothered. But I got part way through the High Mountain Court and then stopped, and then Becca read it and she wasn't that fussed. She finished the first one, but she wasn't that fussed by the series, and I think on that basis I'm probably not going to enjoy it, so I did want to get rid. Then I've got a bunch that's stacked up over here, so I'll get through these before I forget them. Recommended for You by Laura Silverman. YA, not bothered. I'm not going to spend too much time on these. Other Words for Home by Jasmine Wager. I've had this on my TBR for a while and I haven't picked it up yet, so it's just going to go, I'm afraid. AJ and the Mumbai's Son by Varsha Shah. This came in a subscription box and I'm not that fussed about picking it up. I do have quite a lot of subscription box middle grades in here. I've got The Winter of the Witch here by Catherine Add, and it killed Jade to tell me to get rid of this one. I have read the first 2 in this series and did enjoy them. Loved the first one, didn't love the second one as much. But it was ages ago that I read them, and I still haven't read this, and I've already unhauled the first 2. So she was like, look, are you ever going to pick it up? And I was like, I don't know, probably not. So she was like, well, just get rid of it, for God's sake. So it's going. Then I've got The Smoke Thieves by Sally Green. Didn't know this author was problematic. Got to get rid. The Scapegraces by Hannah Abigail Clark. I picked this up at Yalk. Well, I actually think I picked it up at Forbidden Planet, maybe. But it was while I was in London for Yalk, and I'm just not that fussed by it anymore, so it is what it is. Then we've got Beasts of Prey by Ayana Gray. I did that yesterday as well. This came in a subscription box. I think it came in Fairyloot, if I remember correctly. Not interested in it. Then I've got Gideon Green in the Black and White by Katie Henry. This was sent to me by the publisher, but I haven't picked it up yet, and it came out like a year ago. So I'm going to get rid of that one. I do have the first 3 books in the Graceling series, Graceling of Fire and Bitter Blue by Kristen Kashaw. Haven't picked them up. My patrons told me that I wouldn't be fussed by this, so to get rid. And then I do have Vespertine and also An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. I did dislike A Sorcery of Thorns. I didn't like that book. So I'm going to get rid of both of these. Jade did say that I might enjoy this one because it's got a similar vibe to ACOTAR, but it is very mediocre, and she said there's better books out there. So I'm going to get rid of both of those as well. Then we have Priest by Sierra Simone. Did read this for Literature Book Club. Not bothered about keeping the book. It was fine. I gave it 3 stars. Not that fussed to keep hold of it. The Secret Bridesmaid by Katie Birchall. Thank you to Tracy for sending me this one. I'm sure Tracy sent me this one. Oh no, Claire sent it me. My apologies. It was Tracy that put it on my TBR for me. Thanks to Claire for sending me this one. It was fine. I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed it, but I'm not keeping hold of it. I'm never going to reread it. So we shall get rid. I have Polar Bear Cafe Volume 1. Wasn't a fan, so I'm getting rid. We have A Lady of Rooksgrave Manor by Catherine Moon again. Literature Book Club pick. Gave it 3 stars. It was fine. Never going to reread, probably won't continue with the series. The Way Past Winter by Kieran Millwood Hargreave. I read this, I think, for Polathon, if I remember correctly. Then we've got Love Virtually by Daniel Glatter. I read this one. Victoria sent me this one. She wanted me to read it as my Patreon pick, so I did. But it's time to let it go now. And then I'm Glad My Mum Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I read this one last month and it was great. I gave it 5 stars. But I can't keep hold of it. There's no point. I'm never going to reread it. So I'm going to get rid. I do have the paperbacks for The Bone Season, The Mime Order and The Song Rising by Samantha Shannon. I now have hardbacks. These are all tabbed up though. And I'm not sure as if it are going to be happy with that. But I'm not sitting taking those tabs out. So it is what it is. If they don't take them, they can go to charity shop. Someone can enjoy my notes. But yeah. Gonna get rid of the paperbacks of these because I have the hardbacks. I don't need paperbacks as well. Then I do have Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow by Siobhan Curran. I read this ages and ages and ages ago. Siobhan sent me a copy of it and absolutely loved it, but I'm never going to reread it, so I've decided to get rid. Princess of Souls by Alexandria Christo came in a subscription box. I'm never going to read it. It was a Fairy Loot one, so gonna get rid. And then a shadow in the Ember by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I am getting rid of my, they won't be in here because they've already been boxed up. I've sold them, but I'm getting rid of my Fairy Loot from Blood and Ash trilogy. So I'm not continuing on with the series, so I'm going to get rid of that as well. And then I do have Don't Cry For Me by Daniel Black, which is a Book of the Month book. I'm intrigued by it, but not that intrigued. I'm never picking it up. So similarly with Fiona and Jane by Jean Chen Ho, I'm going to get rid of as well. I do have another one here from Josie Jaffrey, which is The Wolf and the Water, which she sent me and I did read. And again, just going to get rid because I've read it now and I'm not going to get a chance to reread. I'm also getting rid of my Grey, Freed and Darker series, which is 50 Shades of Grey but from Christian's POV. I was intrigued to do a vlog on this at some point, but I've decided not to bother with that anymore because there's plenty of other books I would much rather be picking up. So gonna get rid of those. Make sure I got the bookmark out of it first. Forever wondering where my bookmarks have gone. That would be why. Sherlock Holmes, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I have a really, really gorgeous bind up of Sherlock Holmes books, so I don't need this one anymore. Might give it to my dad actually because he loves Sherlock Holmes. Then I do have the Potkin and Stubbs series, which I have read. I managed to read the final one last year for Final Book Support Group. I'm never going to reread them, so I'm going to get rid of them. But I love this series, so I am sad to see them go, but I'm never going to reread. I have an arc of The Atlas 6 by Livy Blake. DNF'd the book, so I'm not going to keep the arc. I have The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I was going to take part in Catch Up, was it Catch Up Book Club? No, it wasn't. It was Cassidy's book club for this one, Batlist book club. But where is it? No, Catch Up Book Club are doing this now, right? Anyway, I didn't pick it up and I don't want to anymore, so I'm going to get rid of it. It doesn't freaking matter who it was for. I've got Hanny and Issues Guide to Fake Dating, which again, just it's YA, I'm not that bothered anymore, so I'm going to get rid. And I do have The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. I'm a little bit good to be getting rid of these, to be perfectly honest, because I did reread The Hunger Games a while ago and really enjoyed myself, but I just don't know when I'm going to pick them up again, and I think it's time I let them go, probably. Then I do have this mini book of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. I don't know where the hell this came from. Probably a subscription box, but I'm going to get rid of it because I'm not going to read it. Then I've got Sweet Talking Lover by Tracy Livesey. I picked this up, I think it's cowboy romance, but I'm not bothered about picking it up. And honestly, these size books really annoy the life out of me, so it needs to go. The Last Shadow Warrior by Sam Subity even. Really love this book. It came in an Now Create Junior box, but I just haven't the room to keep hold of it now that I've read it, so I'm going to get rid, but really enjoyed it. And then I also have The Sound of Stars by Alicia Dow, another one I really enjoyed, but again don't have the room to keep hold of, so I am going to get rid, which I'm a little bit, I am more gutted about The Sound of Stars, I'm not going to lie. But it is what it is. This whole video should just be called It Is What It Is. The Fireman by Joe Hill. I've had this on my TBR for so fucking long, and honestly I'm sick to death of seeing it. It's such a chunky book, and although the premise really intrigues me, I just don't think I'm ever going to pick it up. Realistically, I don't think I'm ever going to pick it up, so it's got to go. Sick of seeing it. I've got Momo Volume 1. I tried to start reading this last month, I think, for something, and I was not a fan, so I'm going to get rid. It is a vampire manga. I do have the paperbacks of Finlay Donovan is Killing It and Finlay Donovan Knocks Him Dead. I've since bought the hardbacks because the hardback for the paperback for the last one is the wrong size. It's in here somewhere. Oh, it's over there. It's the wrong size, so I'm going to get rid. Rockstar Detectives by Adam Hills came in a subscription box, I'm not bothered. Hope Jones Saves the World by Josh Lacey, also subscription box. Little Witch Academia Volume 1. Jade read this, did not like it, said it was crap, and I got mixed up with this and Witch Heart Italia, so I ended up buying this one. I don't want it anymore because she said it was rubbish. So The Puffin Book of Big Dreams. I'm not that bothered about reading this, I'm not going to lie. This is a very young middle grade. It might be good for Thomas at some point, but I don't know, I'm not bothered right now. It takes up a lot of space, it's very chunky. Okay, we've got A Quiet Kind of Thunder by Sarah Bernard. I got this for my in-person book club, and I did get partway through it. I was tabbing it up, I've made some notes. But I ended up putting it down, I just haven't picked it back up. It's YA, and I just don't think I'm going to get back to it. The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. Again, I got partway through, but honestly I wasn't particularly enjoying myself, I'm not going to lie. So it's going to go, unfortunately. If I can get this, I mean it's going either way, but hopefully I can get this gift note out. Thank you Jessie for that one, I do appreciate it, but unfortunately not up my street. It is what it is. Again. Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer, did not like, DNF'd, so it can go. Finlay Donovan Jumps the Gun paperback, as you can see, very large, very unnecessary, very pissed off. Kiki's Delivery Service by Iko Kadono. I don't think I'm ever going to read this. I've been more inclined to watch the movie, to be honest, so I am going to unhaul this one. And then we've got Skyward Flight, and then you've probably seen this in an unhaul before, but I kept it, sorry Jade. Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson. These are the US hardbacks, and I've had to make a decision whether or not to invest in Skyward and Starsight in the US hardbacks, or just invest in this one in the UK hardback, because I don't need all of them. And I had to make this decision. Financially, it's cheaper to buy this in the UK hardback than it is to buy the other two in the US hardbacks, and then continue to collect the series in the US hardbacks, which are phenomenally more expensive for me because I'm in the UK. So I'm going to get rid of them. Then we have The Faraway Truth by Janie Marks, which is a middle grade. I'm just not that bothered about picking it up anymore. It's been on my shelves for ages. The Mystery of Black Hollow Lane, God knows where its sister is because it's in here somewhere, but I'm getting rid of this one and also the second one in the series. Really sad about this. I read both of them, really enjoyed them, would love to keep them because they're really beautiful books and I really enjoyed the series. I'm not likely to reread it, and if I ever want to, the audiobooks are on Scribd, so just get rid. We have The Peculiar Tale of Tentacle Boy by Richard Pickard. Again, I think came in a subscription box. Yeah, it did. It's got a signed book plate. Came in a subscription box. Not fussed. Ship of Shadows by Maria Kuznia. Jade says that she doesn't think I'm going to enjoy it, so I am going to get rid of this one. We have the Jumbies and the Rise of the Jumbies. I read the Jumbies bloody ages ago and I haven't reached for this one, so I'm just going to get rid of it. I did enjoy the Jumbies, but for some reason I've not continued on with the series, so I'm just going to get rid. No Exit by Taylor Adams I've read. I'm never going to reread, so I'm going to get rid. We do have a very controversial one here, and this one breaks my heart a little bit to be getting rid of, because I loved 5 stars, gave the first two books in the series 5 stars. I didn't finish the last one because of the triggers in it for me, but it is the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. I'm honest to God heartbroken about this. Out of all of the books, if I could save any of them, it'd be these, but I don't think I'm ever going to finish the last book. I'm terrified of picking it back up again because of the triggers in it. So the stalking really triggered me at the beginning of this book, and I don't know how much longer it goes on for, and I just don't know if I can bring myself to ever pick this book back up because of that. And on that basis, I can't in good conscience keep the first 2 without having the 3rd one, and I've not finished it, so I can't keep them, so they have to go. And I'm not happy about it. We do have Inner Holidays by Christina Lauren. I've read this one. I'm not too fussed about keeping hold of it. I'm never going to reread it. It was great, but I'm not going to reread it. Halloween Fiend by C.V. Hunt. I got this for Halloween last year. I did try reading it, but I wasn't that bothered by it, in all honesty. It is a novella, but I'm not that fussed by it. I just love the cover, in all honesty. It terrifies the life out of me. Beautiful Bastard by Christina Lauren. Read, won't reread, so there's no need for me to keep it. Loath to Love You by Ali Hazelwood. I pre-ordered this completely forgetting I'd already pre-ordered the... Is it Illumicrate or Fairlight ones? Who does them? Where are you? Afterlight. Illumicrate. I have this one, so there's no need for me to have a paperback copy as well. So I'm just unhauling a duplicate. We've got The Handover by David M. Barnett. This one just doesn't catch my fancy anymore, unfortunately. So it's a shame, but it just doesn't take my fancy anymore. Then we do have Gilded by Marissa Mayer. This is the Farrelloot edition. I did also get its sister, which I've forgotten the name of entirely. I haven't read this and I'm not too fussed about reading it, but I did get the sister book to go with it. But I've made the decision to let them go. So it is what it is. I've had to be really vicious with this unhaul because I needed the space. As you can see, my shelves look so much tidier, but I am still... like, I'm stacking, which I hate doing to start off with, and then I am still putting books here like this, and I don't like doing that. So I am still strapped for space, unfortunately, so sometimes I have to make some sacrifices, and this is one of them. Then we have One More Step, which is an anthology of short stories. I literally bought this for the Colleen Hoover short story in here, and then someone told me that it was fine except for the Coho one, and I was like, oh great, well, that's going well then, hasn't it? We've got Shipped by Angie Hockman. I wanted to read this one because I've heard that it's like The Hating Game but on a boat, but I'm concerned that my seasickness could kick in. This sounds ridiculous, but I tried reading Fable and ended up having to DNF it. I was really enjoying myself, but I had to DNF it because I got severe seasickness reading the book. I was at home on the sofa, not on a boat. That's how bad my seasickness is. So there you go. Fun fact. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I don't think I'm ever going to pick this book up. I know it's fantastic, but I don't think I'm ever going to pick it up, and I don't think it's ever going to be up my street. So unfortunately, I'm going to let this one go. The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. I don't know. I feel like this has been on my shelves for ages now. I don't even know when it came out. When did it come out? 2021. I've read the Flatshare and the Switch and really enjoyed them, but I just don't know if I'm that fussed about picking up these like contemporary clit-lit fic kind of books anymore. I don't know. If I'm picking up a romance, I want it to be romantic and I want it to be spicy, you know? So I think I'm just gonna let this go. I do have a second Beth O'Leary in here as well. I know, sorry. I am the worst. Black Girl Unlimited by Echo Brown. I got this one again, I think at Yalk, I can't remember. But again, it's YA, so I'm not in my YA anymore, unfortunately. And on that basis, Lost Boys by Christina Henry is going to go too. Greta and the Ghost Hunters by Sam Copeland. Again, just not intrigued by this one anymore. This one came in a subscription box. The Unhauled Curse by Jasmine Richards came in a subscription box, but Matt just came flying out of that, so I'm gonna let it go. We do have The Ringmaster by Toby Vincent, and also Crash by Toby Vincent, which are F1 thrillers, but look at the size of them. Like, is there any need for a thriller to ever be that large? I'm not sure. So I am gonna get rid of both of these. I've got Wolf in Shadow by David Gemmell. I just don't think I'm that fussed by this one, and especially on the basis it looks like he's like a gunslinger. I've read Mistborn Era 2, which I didn't enjoy too much with the whole gunslinging thing, and I've also read The Gunslinger by Stephen King and wasn't a fan, so I don't think that's going to be up my street anymore. Strange Magic by Sid Moore. I've had this a really long time now and I haven't reached for it at all, so I think I am going to get rid, but it is such a beautiful book. Night Books by J.A. White. Just not that fussed about this one anymore. I haven't heard a great deal of things, to be honest. With a Vengeance by Freydis Moon, another Clit pick. Another one that I didn't exactly love, so I am going to unhaul because I'm never going to reread it. Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. This has been on my TBR forever and I still haven't picked it up, so it's time to let it go, I think. God, I'm a little bit terrified by the fact that I'm not even really halfway through this yet. This video is going to be so long. Twin Crowns by Catherine Webber. Did this come in a subscription box? I don't know how we got this one, but I'm not bothered about reading it. Again, YA. The Weather Weaver by Tamsin Muir. Jade's read this one. She wasn't too fussed by it, so I'm going to get rid. The Chime Seekers by Ross Montgomery. It came in a subscription box. I'm not that bothered by it, so getting rid. Oh, There Is the Secret of Whitestone Gate by Julia Noble, the one I was talking about before that I didn't really want to get rid of, but I have no choice. His Royal Hopeless by Chloe Perrin, subscription box. Snow and Rose by Emily Winfield Martin. I've read this one a couple of times and I'm never going to reread it again, so I'm going to get rid. Dragon Mountain by Katie and Kevin Sang. Jade said that she's heard not great things. She's still got it on her TBR, but she's heard not great things, and then my Patreons agreed and said that they don't think I'm going to enjoy it, so I'm just made the decision to get rid of it. And then I have Even the Darkest Stars and All the Wandering Light by Heather Fawcett. I really enjoyed this series, loved Even the Darkest Stars more, but I don't think I'm ever going to reread it, so it's time to let the books go, unfortunately, but there's not much I can do about it. Space is my priority right now. Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassie Clare. I don't know what happened to my brain there. This is the special edition Waterstones one, and it is signed with my name as well, because I did go and meet Cassandra Clare and also Holly Black at an event in Manchester. It was one of my first book events, actually. But I've gotten rid of all of my other Shadowhunter books because, again, they were taking up too much space and I'm never going to reread them. So, and I only kept hold of this one because it is personalised, but I can't do that, you know. I need to let it go. This is the other Beth O'Leary I have, The No Show. Again, just don't think I'm interested anymore. Got The Wizards of Once, Never and Forever, which is the last book I think in this series by Cressida Cowell. I've read the rest of them, I've unhauled the rest of them, but I haven't reached for this since it came out. So, and I obviously got the Waterstones edition. This is signed as well. It came out in 2020 and I've still not reached for it yet, so it's time to let it go. I have Blood Orange by Harriet Tice. I love this book, but I do have a personalised signed arc of it, so I'm going to let this one go because I did meet Harriet at my actual first ever bookish event, which was run by Headline. So I had a great time at that event as well. This book is fantastic, by the way, if you're looking for a thriller with a horrific twist at the end. Outstanding, would recommend. Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. I believe this is going to be a series. Is there a sequel coming out or something? I did enjoy this one, but I'm never going to reread it. The cover is beautiful, but I am not going to reread it, and I'd rather this book be on somebody else's shelf than mine collecting dust. So it's going to go. I do have the Girls of Paper and Fire trilogy here. We got this one in a Fairy Loot box. It's got pink sprayed edges, but I never continue collecting the series from them. So I've not read Girls of Fate and Fury, and at this point, when did this come out? Because I obviously got it in hardback, so I got it when it first came out. 2021, and at this point I haven't read it yet, and I don't think I'm going to. So, and I'm not rereading the first two because I've already read Girls of Paper and Fire twice, and I'm not doing it again because if you know, this book's quite horrific, so I'm not doing it to myself again. I've got the Waterstones edition of Lore Olympus Volume 3. I ended up purchasing this one because I was getting impatient waiting for Illumicrate to release it. They were waiting for Volume 4 so that they could release them together. So I am going to be purchasing those, so I am going to get rid of this one, but I have read it 5 stars. I'm just going to replace it with the Illumicrate one because I've already got Illumicrate 1 and 2, so I might as well continue with that collection. Then I do have a couple of graphic novels. I've got Injection Volumes 1 and 2. I've read the first one, but I haven't continued. I'm honestly not that bothered by it, so I'm just going to get rid. And Monstrous Volumes 1 and 2. I've read both of these and really didn't enjoy them, so I didn't understand it. It was very confusing, so I am going to get rid. Thank you to Katie for gifting me this one. If you're still around watching my channel, I've no doubt this was friggin' ages ago, but thank you, Katie, for gifting me that one. I do appreciate it, but they need to go. And I do have this book by Nate Berkus called The Things That Matter. This was like the sort of book that I bought when I first mortgaged my house, and it was the kind of like coffee table book, and I've never looked at it since. So, you know, like, it's just a proper coffee table book type thing. So I am going to get rid of it. It takes up a lot of space on my shelf, so I'm going to get rid. You don't like how much I still got left to go through. I just sorted my back out from putting all of the books back on the shelf, and now my back's killing again. For fuck's sake. Okay, I do have Dreaming Sun Volumes 1 to 5. I did end up buying Volumes 1 to 10 off of eBay because I only had Volumes 1 to 5, and Volume 8 was really hard to get hold of. So it was cheaper for me to buy Volumes 1 to 10 off eBay than it was to buy Volumes 6 to 10 separately. So I'm just going to get rid of these ones because I already have a full set now. And I have now read the entire series. Very proud of myself for that. Fenris and Mott by Greg Van Eekhout. I've read it. It came in an Owl Crate Junior box. It was fine. And then Black Paradox by Junji Ito. I'm never going to reread this, so I thought it might be better on somebody else's shelf, so I'm going to get rid. I do have the Arc of Aurora Burning by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I have read this book. I've read the whole series. There's no need for me to keep this arc anymore. I used to be super picky about keeping my arcs, but I'm not that fussed anymore, unfortunately. So I am going to let this go. Then I have an arc of The Last Ones Left Alive by Sarah Davis Goff. I read this one, did enjoy it. Again, it is, actually it's not personalised, it's just signed because Sarah was also at the event with Harriet Tice when I went to that one. So gonna let go of this one. I have Mine by Emily Merrill. I bought this ages and ages ago and have not read it, so it needs to go. It's published in 2019. It's probably about when I bought it as well, so I'm gonna let it go. I have an arc of You Can Go Your Own Way by Eric Smith. This came out in 2021 and I haven't read it. It's YA, so I'm not going to go back to it now. I have Duke Actually by Jenny Holiday. Didn't realise this was the second in a series and I haven't picked it up yet, so again, it's going to go. All I Want for Christmas by Wendy Logia. I started reading this a couple Christmases ago and never finished it, and I don't think I'm ever going to go back to it, so I'm going to get rid. Things We Know by Heart by Jessie Kirby. I bought this for a specific video and then just didn't do the video, so I've got no need to keep hold of it anymore. Then I have Beyond the Tape by Dr. Marie Cassidy. I've had this for friggin' ever and I haven't picked it up, so I'm very picky about my non-fic these days, so I'm going to get rid of that one. Jog On by Bella McKay. Told you I had another Bella McKay in here. Not too fussed by this one. Again, it's more women's literature, if you like, than anything. Dear Edward by Anne Napolitano. I've had this one for ages as well. When did this come out? 2020. I've probably had it since then. not bothered. Almost Midnight by Rainbow Rowell, I've read this one, don't need it, I'm not going to reread it. All Her Little Secrets by Wanda M. Morris, I got this for, was this part of Literally Dead Book Club last year? Never read it, so. The Hookup Plan by Farah Roshan, I did get this one, kind of keen on it, but I have since realised that it's part of the series. The Boyfriend Project was the first one and I DNF'd that book, so better get rid. Set on You by Amy Leah. I got this one, when did this come out? Did I only get this last year? Yes. I'm not that bothered. I'm just not fussed, to be perfectly honest, so I'm getting rid. Talk Bookish to Me by Katie Bromley. The audiobook for this is on BookBeat, so I can listen to it whenever, but I've just had to be really ruthless with my books because I haven't got the room. Adding this up later is going to be an absolute chore. Alright, we've got Lucky Leap Day by Anne-Marie Walker. Got this one a while ago as well. I haven't picked it up, so it's going to go. Holiday Swap by Maggie Fox. Similar thing, I started it, didn't carry on with it, it's gonna go. The Bingo Hall Detectives by Jonathan Whitelaw. I joined a local book club and then I missed the first one, so this was it. And I was gonna back read it, but I'm honestly not that bothered by it, so I don't know. Listen, I'm easily influenced, I don't know what to tell you. We're getting there, guys. I've got 3.5 piles to go. Verona Comics by Jennifer Duggan, Hot Dog Girl by Jennifer Duggan, and also Some Girls Do by Jennifer Duggan. Maddie, if you're watching this, I apologise with the whole of my heart. I just don't think I can bring myself to read them. If I was going to read them, I should have read them when I got them, but I'm not. My YA is just completely gone. So I do apologise. Maddie's a huge fan of Jennifer Duggan, so I got these to read them for a video and then I just never did. I do apologise, Mads. But they've got to go, I can't do it anymore. Similarly, We Can't Keep Meeting Like This by Rachel Lynn Solomon. YA, I'm not that fussed. Mr. Nobody by Catherine Steadman. I got absolutely no idea when, where or why I picked this up, but it's a thriller, but I'm not that fussed by it anymore. Cursed, which is a collection of short stories, had it for ages, just gonna get rid. Neon Gods by Katie Robert. I actually DNF'd this one and then I thought, I'm sure this has probably been an unhaul before. I ended up keeping it and now I'm getting rid of it again. I'm never going to go back to it. I just really like the cover. 8 Perfect Hours by Leah Louise. Again, had this forever, haven't picked it up, so it's going. 1,000 Heartbeats by Kira Cass. YA. I just can't anymore. The next 2 books in the Ice Planet Barbarian series, I had to be really honest with myself and I just don't think I'm going to pick these up. Read the first one for Literature Book Club as a bit of a fun thing, but I honestly don't think I'm going to continue on with them. So I am going to get rid of them. Cece did gift me this one, so thanks Cece. Again, apologies for getting rid of a book you've gifted me. I do hate myself. I know you said you're not bothered, but I don't like it. I'm not a fan. Undead Girl Gang by Lily Anderson. I've loved this book for so long. I read it ages ago. Absolutely adored it. 2018 this came out. Read it ages ago. Absolutely loved it. Always held on to it because I loved the cover, but not only that, but I really wanted to reread it at some point. But I'm just terrified that it won't live up to what I thought it was on reread. So I'm not going to put myself through it. Then I've got Cryer's War and Ironheart by Nina Varela. Really enjoyed Cryer's War, but I have just never picked up Ironheart. So I am going to let them go because I just don't know if I'm ever going to get to it and they're taking up space. The Maid by Nita Prose. Just not that fussed by it, so I'm going to get rid. The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. Jade said she thinks I'm going to hate it, so to get rid. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, we've got The Reckless Afterlife of Harriet Stoker by Lauren James. Had it for ages. Haven't picked it up. Lake's Edge by Lyndall Clipton. Again, had it for ages. Haven't picked it up. It was a cover buy, in all honesty. Contender, The Chosen. I picked this up last year at Yalk. Jade picked it up as well. We were going to buddy read it, but we've heard very mediocre things since then, so not bothered about wasting my time on it. Renegades by Marissa Mayer. Listen, I used to own this book. I tried reading it. I DNF'd it. I got rid of the book. I wanted to try again, so I bought the book again. And now I haven't picked it up. I'm unhauling it. Ghost Story by Peter Straub. This is a massive chunky book for a ghost story. And I just don't think I have it in me. Half a King by Joe Abercrombie. Jade's read the series and she says that it's like a mediocre series and it's not worth it, so I'm gonna get rid. Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I bought this because I started watching Outlander, completely fell in love with the TV series, so I bought the book, naturally, as one does, and then never picked the book up. And this is quite a long series and I just don't think I'm going to get to it. So I've got to face facts and stop hoarding books I'm not going to read because it's just not right, you know? Just Like Magic by Sarah Hogle. I think, oh shit, the bed. I think I got this from the publisher ages ago and just I didn't get round to it. And I'm just not that fussed about picking it up now, so. The Right Swipe by Alicia Rye. Got this ages ago and I haven't picked it up. And again, I'm just not that bothered by the premise anymore. I'm not intrigued. Bad Things Happen Here by Rebecca Barrow. An arc that I didn't get around to. When did this come out? It's a YA thriller. And I haven't picked it up. So the chances of me doing so now are pretty slim. Oh, it came out last year, so not that long ago, but it came out last year and I haven't read it yet. My arc of Kingdom of the Wicked, I did read and tab this one. I don't know if you can see that. I did read and tab this one, but again, I'm not too fussy about keeping my arcs, so that can go as well. City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, paperback edition. I now have hardbacks, so I can let that go. The arc of Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha Young. Again, I'm getting rid of the hardback, so I'm not going to keep the arc of it. There's no need. We have The Swordsman's Lament by G.M. White. I got this one because of Cassidy, but since then I have realised that mine and Cassidy's tastes don't tend to align too much, which is a shame. I align more with Jade, and Jade's tastes very rarely align with Cassidy's. So I just don't think this one is going to be for me. And Cece has mentioned that she doesn't think I'm probably going to like it either, so I'm going to get rid. Sorry, Cass. The Dreamers by Karen Thompson Walker. I was sent this as a gift. Thank you, Liam, for gifting me this one. I do appreciate it, but it's not necessarily on my radar anymore. I do apologise, Liam. I do appreciate the gift though. Thank you so much. This Poison Heart by Kaylin Bayron. I did enjoy the Cinderella is Dead, but again, YA, and I'm not here for it anymore. Battle Royale by Lucy Parker. I've had this one again for a while, and of all the foodie romances I have, this one it isn't up there for me, so gonna get rid. The Witcher, Sword of Destiny and Witcher, Blood of Elves. Realistically, I'm never gonna pick these up, so it's time to move on from that. I would rather watch the show. Then we do have the Mortal Engine series and the first one in the Night Flight series by Philip Reeve even. I read Mortal Engines and Infernal Devices but never continued, and I just don't think I'm going to. I did enjoy them, but I just don't think I'm going to pick them up anymore, and if I want to be in that world I will probably just watch the movie. I didn't hate the movie. I don't know why it's never continued with the series, but I think it's time to let these go, I'm afraid. So I do have When We Were Magic by Sarah Gailey. Had this one again for ages and it's YA and I'm just not bothered about picking it up anymore. How to Find Your Way in the Dark by Derek B. Miller. Again, I think I got this one at Yalk last year and I'm just not interested in it anymore. Bravely by Maggie Stiefvater. My patrons this afternoon made a really good point that if I was to be in the world of Brave, would I go to the movie or this book? And I would go to the movie. They are correct. This cover is beautiful though. But yeah, I'm not likely to pick that one up now. Gods and Monsters by Janie Marie. I saw that Becca got this one a couple of years ago for her birthday as a gift, and it looked really, really good. I was really intrigued by the cover, so naturally I'm easily influenced. I bought it, and then I don't think she enjoyed it. So I'm just going to unhaul it without reading it. Then I do have the entire Percy Jackson series. I should have unhauled this fucking ages ago. I don't know what I was doing keeping hold of it because I never had any intention of picking these books up. So I'm just going to get rid of them. And I do have a whole collection of special editions. This one is not a special edition. So I'll show you this one first. Language of Thorns by Leigh Bardugo. I've had this again for ages and I've just not picked it up. So I'm just going to let it go because I've not read it. Similarly, this is also not a special edition, but Gallant by V. Schwab. This is just the normal edition from the bookstore. And this one is the Illumicrate edition. Not a fan of this cover, I'm not going to lie. I do have the Waterstones edition, so I still got a copy, but there was no need for me to have 3 copies. I haven't even read it yet, so I'm letting it go. Then I have A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibbons. I did Gibson every time, Gibson. I did read this one, gave it 4 stars, enjoyed it, never going to reread it, so I'm going to get rid. This is the Feralute edition. And then The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi Struggles, Roshani Chokshi. I DNF'd this one. This is absolutely beautiful and I'm devastated to get rid because it would look so lovely on my shelves. But I did DNF it, so it needs to go. Similarly, I DNF'd this Woven Kingdom by Tahira Mafi. This is the Illumicrate edition, so it needs to go. I got partway through The Prison Healer ages ago. Never continued. Bought the second one. Still didn't continue, so it's time to let them go. Unfortunately, there is some, oh no, it's the top. Unfortunately, there's some sun damage to the top of my Prison Healer copy. As you can see, the colour has changed massively. So yeah, that is a shame, but these things happen. This is why you should change your books around quite a bit if you can. And also with your sprayed edges, don't leave them out in the sun. Just don't do it. We have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia for Fairies by Heather Fawcett. I'm unhauling because I DNF'd. Very pretty, very sad. And then last, but by no means least, I have the Serpent and Dove series. I've read Serpent and Dove. I've read Serpent and Dove by Shelby McCurran twice. And I've never read Blood and Honey or Gods and Monsters. These are all the Feralute editions. You can't really see the edges on this, but they are sprayed silver. And they're very, very pretty. But I don't know why I keep holding on to them. Probably because they're very, very pretty. But it's time to let them go. So, let me just do my final count. Okay, that's a really round, nice round number. I didn't think it was going to be that many books. I have managed to get rid of 222 books in this unhaul. I am very shocked. I'm not looking at them, but I am very shocked. Considering how many fucking books are still left on here, that's for sure. But yeah, 222 books. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I do apologise. I hope you enjoy. I know it was done a little differently at the beginning, but I wanted to do things a little bit differently and be brutal with this unhaul, and I think I've managed that. So, pretty proud of myself. It's taken what feels like forever. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below. Did you like how I did this one? Or do you prefer like an unhaul with me, or just for me to sit down and tell you the books I'm unhauled and me drag them off myself? But yeah, chat to me in the comments down below. Hope you have enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye for now.